The hallmark of George Voinovich's career has been to work for Ohio's families, to effect the change they need to make Ohio and our nation a better, stronger place. Throughout his distinguished career in public service, George Voinovich fulfilled his duty with honor and displayed rare leadership ability, gaining the respect of Ohioans and the American people. George Voinovich's remarkable life story began in Cleveland in 1936. The grandson of immigrants, George learned at an early age the value of hard work, honesty, integrity, and responsibility, values which today make George Voinovich's mother very proud.
She became a volunteer librarian at a inner city school, and my brothers and sisters said to me, tell Mom that she ought not to go over there. She's too old and the neighborhood's not safe and so forth. And my mother said, I'm going because I'm needed.
After graduating from Ohio State University College of Law in 1961, young George opened a law practice and married his wife, Janet.
When I met him, we were both in our 20s, and he was so completely different from any man I'd ever met at that age. And there was a directness about him. There's a sensitivity about him. And if you know, sometimes when you meet someone, you look in their eyes, and there's a special look. So he had that special look.
George wanted to do more to significantly affect people's lives. And in 1966, he won the election to the Ohio House. He worked his way up the political ladder. And by 1972, he was responsible for 85 bills becoming laws. George Voinovich's records and popularity attracted the attention of Governor James A. Rhodes, who picked George to be his running mate. And in 1978, the Rhodes-Voinovich team captured the State House. George had only served a year as lieutenant governor when he found his hometown, the city of Cleveland, in default. George Voinovich's leadership was needed.
Like so many people who knew him then, was shocked and surprised when he resigned as lieutenant governor to return to his home city of Cleveland and to become a candidate for mayor. It certainly told me a lot about the character of the individual, that he was dedicated enough to helping the city that was in deep trouble and getting it back on a solid and sound foundation.
I felt that if we could be doing so well in so many other areas, if I could get this business community and the private sector involved with me, that we could turn the town around and really make a difference.
He made a difference as mayor of Cleveland. His first step, working with the business community to examine city operations. The debt from the previous administration was worse than originally projected, $111 million. But by 1987, thanks to George Voinovich's leadership, at City Hall, they burned the debt. The city was back in business and later earned the title of All-American City 3 times in a 5-year period.
It would not be overstating to say that George was the rock, on which the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was built. Cleveland is known around the world now primarily for having the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He was able to bring people together, work collaboratively for the common good. He was a person who was able to do that, and people respected him for that. People who normally don't work together, he was able to bring together on common projects that were very helpful.
I, George Victor Voinovich, do solemnly swear.
In 1990, George Voinovich turned his attention to Ohio's problems when he was elected governor. His fiscal responsibility was again put to the test when the state of Ohio faced projected $1.5 billion shortfall. Again, it was time to get to work.
Gone are the days when public officials are measured by how much they spend on a problem. The new realities dictate that public officials are now judged on whether they can work harder and smarter and do more with less.
He believed deeply in doing more with less and working harder and smarter, just like you have to do in the private sector to make government work for people and to deliver the real critical services. So my memory of him as governor is someone who worked very hard himself, expected other people to do that, and we were able to set an agenda together and work to accomplish that agenda.
Children of his own and others have always had a special place in Voinovich's agenda.
He grew up with lots of brothers and 2 sisters, and so when our family started coming along, he was a natural. He was a good daddy. He had a wonderful role model in his father and his mother, of course, and we were kind of a team.
George and Janet had a family of 4 children. In 1979, the youngest daughter, Molly, was a victim of a fatal traffic accident at the age of 9.
When parents lose a child, one of the things that you like to do is to see that the love that you have for her or him goes on.
Molly's memory lives on with her parents' commitment to children's causes and her father's strong support for family and education.
A wonderful family, it's one of his gifts, and he's very interested in family values and family issues, and I think his legislation shows that. I'm firmly convinced that we have a good person in the right place at the right time.
Elected to the United States Senate in 1998, George Voinovich has strived to make government work harder and smarter and do more with less. He has fought for issues that benefit the people of Ohio and the nation. Senator Voinovich always refers to his wife Janet as his first great love and the state of Ohio as his second.
He's dedicated his life to public service, and he thrives on it. Sometimes people say, how does it feel to be the wife of the senator or the governor? And my answer would be, it's tremendous to be the wife of George Voinovich. There is not a day of my life that I don't thank God for bringing us together.
I think his legacy will be his integrity and the fact that he was a person who never forgot his roots, was faithful to those roots, a person who cared about people and tried to make a better world.
I'm worried about yesterday, but I'm worried about my children. I'm worried about my grandchildren. When I walk out of the United States Senate and I look up at freedom and I pinch myself and think about my grandmother and grandfather from Slovenia who came here with nothing, who spoke broken English, and the wonderful country that we have, that their grandson is done what I've done. And I want to make sure that that same kind of opportunity is available to other young people in this country.